Hello, world. It's Berto Pray 5, Qapla, and welcome to a special Sinema Saturday on Sunday. Today we are going to watch The Hunt for Red October. And yes, that was, if you hear a little crying in the background, no, it's not Mamo Pray. It is Nephew Opray who is here. Mamo Pray is with Nephew Opray right now. And Sis Opray is getting a bit of a nap. So I'm going to try my best not to yell if I'm coming in a little softer than usual. It's just me keeping my voice a little lower than I normally would. I'm as close to the microphone as I can get. So if you need to, please raise the volume. And John DeMarco was first. Welcome, John DeMarco. He says, engage the silent drive. Mike Richards is the comrade captain. The comrade. RX Sith says, hello, Bird of Prey. One ping only. Yes, send one ping only. Thomas Potts says, don't be mean to Nephew O'Prey again. I'm not. I was never mean to Nephew O'Prey. There's no reason to say again. John DeMarco says, we shall into history. We shall into history. V-Star says, hello, you all going to try and watch this movie. Never could get into it much. Oh yeah, well, very cool. I hope you enjoy it this time. It's an enjoyable movie. Eastland Burkholder says, hello all. Qapla Eastland. John DeMarco says, movies are always better with Bert. Well, I find that hard to believe, but thank you. Especially when he falls asleep. Son of a bitch. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Bird of Prey and check. Greetings, Mike Richards. Greetings. Now, give me a second because I realized before I popped out the chat. For those who obviously, as always, if you're going to be watching this live, head on over to the Bird of Prey screening room. The link is down below in the scrolling thing. birdofprey5.com/SR. And if you have a computer or a device that allows you to be in two things at once, you can watch my copy of the movie as you are home with me watching it live. It'll play when I hit play. It'll pause. I'm not going to pause it, but it'll stop when it's over. You don't control it. You just sit back and watch. You can control the volume. That's all you can control in the screening room. And of course, if you have your own copy of the movie, that's even better. We're looking at a movie that's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. So that's our flying time for today. Of course, we didn't take off yet. We've got a few planes ahead of us on the runway. JP's is gonna watch and eat a sandwich. Well, probably gonna take you a lot less time to eat the sandwich than to watch the movie, JP's. But welcome. In Eastland likes this movie. Very cool. JP's is Bird of Prey. Would you like to make a sandwich? Would you like a sandwich as well? I would, JP's, but I don't think you can get it to me. Indy Tiger says, howdy all. Qapla Indy Tiger. Mar Krell, Qapla Mar. I am here live and in color. Awesome. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Positive Candor. Qapla, formerly #1 sci-fi. Yes, I do, Positive Candor. In fact, let me put out the stream link. In fact, because it was Sunday, I wasn't sure who was going to be around, so I didn't invite the usual crew up. But we'll take anyone. Well, I don't know about anyone, but we'll take people who I know. If you guys want to come up, come on up to the panel before we start, or later. You can come on in. I'll be right there. I'll let you guys in. Donald Myers says, Qapla Bird. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you, Donald. Qapla to you. And JP says, sandwiches for everyone. Awesome. And Arabic Sonda, Qapla with a $2 super chat. Looking forward to this. Never seen it. Oh, awesome, Arabic. Well, I hope you enjoy the movie then. Although with us commenting over it, there'll probably be parts you won't hear so well. But very cool, and thank you for the donation. Indy Tiger says additional passengers need to board. No. The door is closed. We are on the tarmac. We are getting ready to go. Time to sail into history, says Mr. Lundell. Absolutely. And there's the link for anyone who wants to come in. Let me bring Yosef up. Hello, Yosef.
Greetings from the future. Здравствуйте, товарищи.
Greetings, future man. So, did I hear you right? You have the Slavic version of this movie?
I have a Slovak one and the English one as well, so I will stick with the English one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Unless we can stream the Slovak version.
I don't think that would be. I don't think that would be best.
Probably
maybe next time. Dan23 says movie explained. Sean Connery is playing a character from what country? Russia.
Yeah,
Soviet Union.
They explained
Russia?
it. The Soviet Union. He was not like from Russia. He was from a different country, and that's why basically he did what he did. Yeah. It is explained in the movie.
Maybe he was from Slovakia.
No, he wasn't.
What's this face McWhatnot? Says Qapla, bird of prey. Qapla, what's this face McWhatnot? Indy Tiger says, make mine ham and Swiss on rye, please. Okay, JP's ham and Swiss on rye. I'll take a ham and American on white. Donald Myers says it's a good movie. Well, we only watch good movies, Donald Myers, despite what Yosef might say.
Let me disagree here with you slightly.
Mara Krause says in the bottom scroll, you can find a link to the screening room. Absolutely. Mike Richards says, I'm looking forward to the Russian singing the Kuroga national anthem. I should have dubbed that in to this version. I should have did that. I didn't think of it. Dan23 says I already had tea, which was an egg sandwich. You had tea that was an egg sandwich? Maybe I'm missing something. Jeff Franklin is in the house. I'm sorry, Jeff. Come on up to the stream, Jeff. It'll cheer you up. JP says no ham, only bologna, salami, or Transcona loaf. I don't know what that is. I don't know what Transcona loaf is. Lithuania. Oh, he's from Lithuania. That makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't
apparently
remember that
everybody knew it was Lithuania but me. Greetings. Miss Lindell, The Hunt for Red October, or Red October, is best seen in the original English. Yeah, there we go. That's true. That's true. Thomas Potts is one of my favorite movies. Awesome. It's because it's the struggle of Kuroga over Kurdistan. And Positive Candor just entered the stream. Qapla, Positive Candor.
Qapla, bird of prey, and tell Sis Prey and Nephew Prey hello for us.
I will. Sis Prey is asleep, but I will tell her. And Nephew Prey when I see him next. Yes.
Okay. And yes, tell
everybody
we love them all, too.
Will do. Dan23 says hello to Indy Tiger. And Dan23 says, I've seen bits of this movie before. Well, this time you'll see it in full, hopefully. JP's is Bird of Prey. What exactly is American cheese? I don't ask what it is. I just enjoy it, JP's. Thomas Bot says, don't forget to keep Streamlab up. Yes, I have Streamlab up. And I see Joe Biden donated $1. Thank you, Joe Biden. It says, this movie proves Obama colluded with Russia to win the election, and I demand an investigation. Hello, Mr. Lundell, my BFF. Let him pick the super chat, Mr. Michael Petrick. Joe Biden.
Michael J. Petrick, you mean?
He didn't say J. He just
I don't know. I'm confused.
I think Joe Biden is a little bit more confused. He seems to get worse a little bit worse every day. V-Star wants the Italian salami. Oh, and provolone cheese.
So in that case, he's becoming the perfect presidential candidate.
I thought that was going somewhere else. V-Star says, Bird of Prey, maybe I will understand the movie more with y'all. Hopefully we don't screw it up more. JP's Bird of Prey Transcona loaf is basically a garbage loaf of all the leftovers from the deli made into a loaf. I thought that was Taylor ham or something. Yeah, maybe it's the same thing. Jeff, I'm Bird of Prey, but does American cheese have a soul?
The American cheese, isn't it just a blend of assorted chemicals in a spray can?
No, this is not
cheese.
a spray
Cheese
can.
whizzes.
Yeah, no, American cheese are craft slices of cheese.
Yeah, it's a pasteurized,
individually wrapped.
Pasteurized cheese that has been pasteurized. So,
it's a dairy product.
Yeah, when it gets pasteurized, they add milk to it, obviously.
The pasteurization process clears the soul out.
Yes, it makes it really not cheese anymore after it's pasteurized.
No, it's not like Cheese Whiz or Velveeta, although I think Velveeta has cheese slices. American cheese is just cheese, people. How do you guys not have American cheese?
All I have is probably provolone and cheddar. And
I guess it's close to cheddar. It's pretty close to cheddar.
Yeah, it's close to cheddar.
If you've never had American cheese before, it's pretty close to cheddar, but it melts better.
Not quite cheddar.
Not right. It's like Velveeta melts better than cheddar, but
not quite cheddar is it's almost like butter. Can't believe it's not butter.
No, it's not like butter, although it's sometimes.
Imagine, you know how sharp cheddar cheese is? Just imagine it without the sharpness, basically.
Okay, so bland. Okay.
Yeah, pretty bland. Yeah, pretty bland. Yeah.
So Dan 23 in England had an egg sandwich for tea time, which is at 6 p.m. because Sunday dinner is at 1 p.m. Okay, so for tea time, I understand. I thought there was a tea that, I don't know, tasted like an egg sandwich, which I was going to say, where can I get this tea? Mr. Lundell, Scooby Movie says, how about the super chat where Joe gets run over by the wagon pulled by oxen?
I that one.
I don't know about that one. I think he means Joe Biden.
Oh, okay.
Not me.
Or me.
Indy Tiger says, JP's, according to Wikipedia, American cheese is a soft cheese made from cheddar or Colby. It's mild and a bit salty.
Yes.
I never tasted any salt in it.
Yeah, it does have a sweet taste to it, though.
Star Trek Nitpickers, Qapla loaf, guys. Star Trek Nitpickers put out another episode of the USS New York today. If you're not subscribed to Star Trek Nitpickers, please do.
I'd rather watch the USS New Jersey.
The New Jersey. Well, it was in one of the episodes a couple weeks back.
But I want only episodes with the New Jersey.
Well, maybe you put some comments in saying you prefer the New Jersey. Maybe he'll spin off the New Jersey, and he can do a New York and a New Jersey every week.
Yes. Have them battle each other like Wrath of Khan style each week. Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so check out. It's a very fun channel, very fun videos. Eastland says not made from milk, American cheese. No, there's something dairy in it. There's got to be some type of milk. There's got to be some percentage of it is milk.
Yeah.
Jeff Franklin says, and my messages got interrupted again. Oh, did I miss a message, Jeff? I'm sorry.
Deal with it.
JP says, lol, I thought that said Star Trek nipple. Oh, no, nitpicker. Star Trek Nitpicker says, American cheese is bright yellow, technically not cheese, I hear.
Yeah,
but those are commies that say it's not cheese.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably about the worst kind of cheese you can get.
Also, there is white American, which surprisingly tastes exactly the same. Miss Lundell says, American cheese isn't cheese as much as it is a vegetable oil.
That one should be pulled off shelves.
Should be pulled off shelves. Indy Tiger says, real American cheese doesn't come individually wrapped. Well, that's false.
Kraft singles are.
That's false. Jeff says, pretty typical. I'm sorry, Jeff. Eastland says crab singles are not cheese, but water and oil and almost no milk. But there is enough.
Yeah,
There's enough milk to call it a cheese
and as they
product.
say, the tip of the milk counts.
The tip of the milk counts, yes. As long as there's a drop of milk, it counts. John DeMarco says, in Soviet Russia, cheese puts you in so much. That makes sense. Dan23 says, to quote Homer Simpson, 64 slices of American cheese.
Yeah.
We've bought packages of 64
Yes.
slices of American cheese.
But
They're
don't
quite
eat
large.
64 at one time.
No, don't eat it at once.
Might clog your
32
arteries
tops.
or something.
32 tops. JP says, bird of prey, damn Americans have to say their own cheese. That's just like all other cheddar cheeses.
Well, we should change the name of French fries to American fries. Then
we should call them American fries. We used to call them freedom fries back when France didn't want to invade Iraq again.
If you stuck with proper English, it would be chips.
Yeah, we already have plenty of
We
chips.
have potato chips.
Doritos and Fritos and
those are called
nacho.
Crisps.
Crisp.
Crisps.
Crisp or crackers, man. Here.
Well, I think that's something they just got wrong on that side of the
crackers
ocean.
Are here.
Josh Street says, time to hunt the Red October and its evil captain, Bird of Prey 5. Well, as long as first, the spoiler alert. The captain of Red October is not evil.
Really? I did not know that.
I mean, he's a hero, kinda.
I think Japanese.
Definitely not Soviet hero.
You know, I have a bad feeling about the cook in this episode, Bird of Prey 5.
You had a bad feeling about the cook?
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Jeff Franklin, the best answer to your question comes from Monty Python, not as such, as Mike Richards. We do have to start getting ready to watch the movie. So, guys, if you're in the screening room or you got your own copy, I am paused 7 seconds into the movie. Yeah, Jeff, come join the panel. I'm putting the link in again.
Yeah.
You could be up here. Anybody, Star Trek nitpickers, Indy Tiger, Mr. Lundell, Eastland, any of you guys want to come up, Mike Richards? I mean, I know who you guys are. You can come up and hang out with us today. But yeah, it doesn't matter, says Jeff. Oh,
it doesn't
Indy.
matter.
Hello, Indy.
Hey.
Qapla.
So just to clarify, there is American cheese, but there's also cheese food and cheese product, which are packaged very similarly. But real American cheese does not come wrapped individually sliced. And it doesn't contain vegetable oil.
Okay.
So it's actually proper cheese. No, because the sliced cheese is that is wrapped individually. I don't even consider it cheese.
Yeah, it's not really.
It is proper cheese. American cheese is proper cheese, but you have to really look at the packaging carefully because fake cheese exists and they call it cheese food or cheese product, but it's packaged almost exactly the same as American cheese.
So there is American cheese, just not from Kraft.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I heard is that the real cheese is really expensive in the United States.
Yeah, if you want to get real cheese.
Well, American cheese, and Kraft does make real American cheese. But like I say, you have to look for, on the label, it has to say cheese, not cheese food or cheese product.
Are you going to tell me that Cheetos aren't cheese either?
That is a good question. I think
definitely not.
Probably good cheese.
They have it in the name, Cheetos. They are cheating you.
If you hear crunching later, it's Cheetos. Just so you guys know, it'll be Cheetos.
Cool.
But yeah, just read the package a little more carefully. I didn't know this either until I read an article about it like 10 years ago or something. Because I was eating the crap stuff too.
Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, what was the Simpsons episode where Homer, based on the Red October? Oh, I don't remember the title, but I remember the episode. Homer and his friends all joined the Navy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was a good one. I don't remember the name, though. Dan23 says, Red October Standing by Family Guy Blue Harvest.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Blue Harvest is the Star Wars parody.
Eastland says, not today, maybe later, might get interrupted. Thomas Paz says, Jeff Franklin, hope you feel better. So do I. Dan 23 says, John Street, Homer, it was in the Navy. Yes, became captain of a submarine. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, can we fire officers like torpedoes on the Red Caroga? If so, hey, Bird, get into the torpedo tube. You know, despite what we've seen in cartoons, you really can't fire people out of torpedo tubes. I don't think it works like that.
I saw
But
it on Star Trek too.
Maybe Darren can tell us otherwise.
On Star Trek 2, they did it with Spock.
I know in Star Trek, but we're talking submarines, not the Reliant or the Enterprise.
Yeah, we gotta consult Darren on that one, because I've heard it too. I've heard it too that you can shoot people out of a torpedo tube, but
it's big enough
probably
for
not
people to get
recommended.
inside of it. If that's what
But
you're
is
asking.
there? I don't. Does a torpedo tube actually have anything to fire, or does just the torpedo itself? Doesn't the torpedo carry its own engine?
The torpedo does have its own propulsion
Right.
system.
So I don't think there is anything that actually pushes the torpedo out. Is there?
Yes.
I think compressed air pushes the torpedo out initially.
Yeah. Still launch it like you launch a plane off of a
you do.
carrier deck. Oh yes, it's the same as launching a plane off a carrier deck. You launch it, and then the propulsion kicks in, basically.
Oh, I just assumed the propulsion shot it out the whole way.
Oh no.
Wow.
Who joined the panel?
Professor Brainy Specs McCoy, aka Jeff Franklin. Welcome to the panel.
Hey,
Thank
Jeff.
you, Bird. Hello.
Hello, Jeff. Hi.
Hi, Joseph.
Good to hear you.
It's good to hear you as well, sir.
And Eastland says the individual slices are not slices. They're molded, not sliced. Not legally cheese, which must have a minimum of this much percentage by weight. You guys are breaking my heart. Star Trek nitpickers, we have a range of cheeses in the USA at a range of prices. Yeah, we do.
By
You can
breaking
get
your
real
heart, we are
cheese.
saving your arteries.
My arteries were pretty clean last I checked.
So you want to look for Kraft Deli Deluxe.
Wow, Dan. Wow. Why didn't the torpedo hatch to shoot out Bird of Prey 5? Lol.
Yeah, that's pretty mean.
Wow.
Eastland says Kraft makes Kraft singles, not cheese. And Kraft makes real cheddar cheese, even extra sharp cheddar cheese. And the American very mild cheese. Yeah, I don't like sharp cheddar. I like mild. Eastland is sadly disappointed if people cannot be shut out. Apparently you can be, Eastland.
Yeah, you can
Don't
be,
be
but
disappointed.
I
Don't be
wouldn't
disappointed.
recommend it.
Oh, what if the submarine was at the surface? So it
I mean,
wasn't
if
all
you're
the way
if you're
below.
1,000 feet underwater, yeah, you definitely don't want to be shot out of a torpedo tube.
I was shocked to hear that submarines could only dive like 1,500 feet or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it's not that much when you think about it.
Like compared to the depth of the ocean, I was shocked.
Unless you're in a specifically designed sub.
I'm talking about military subs. Yeah, I know they have the deep ones.
Yeah.
Like the research ones, but like an actual like a nuclear submarine, a U.S. nuclear submarine can't go 3,000 feet underwater or 5 or 10. It's like, I don't know, 15 or 1,800 feet max.
Definitely not built for the Mariana Trench.
No.
Right.
No. No.
That shocked me when I heard that
Otherwise,
statistic.
otherwise the hole would have to be way thicker and stuff like that.
I know, but I don't know, as a civilian or whatever, a regular person, I know it's already made out of metal. How much stronger could it get? And then the engineer, I understand why, but I always assumed, I don't know, as a kid, and it's just something I never updated.
You can do the basic math on pressure. How much.
Did we lose somebody?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Jeff's
Indy,
still here.
Indy.
Positive. Indy dropped off. Well, Indy can come back if he wants. Yeah, Jedi Bill, Qapla, Jedi Bill, you can come in if you want. The link's
Indy?
up there.
Indiana Jones and the Temple
Crystal
of
Skull?
Doom,
In the
or,
Crystal Skull, yeah.
or
Indiana
Kingdom of
Jones.
the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
Okay,
Don't forget
JP's is back,
Annual
so we
Crystal
can
Skull for Bird.
start the movie. So I'm gonna put out the link one more time, and again, we are 8 seconds in, paused in the screening room, and you can get to the screening room at the link that's scrolling across the bottom of the page. Jedi Bill's here. Qapla, Jedi Bill. Darren Wagner. Oh, awesome, Darren. You made it.
Awesome. We have Darren. Is Darren on the panel? Because
Darren is on the panel.
Yep, he's here. Now we can shoot him out of the torpedo tube.
Now we can have the discussion.
Is that
Yay.
correct about shooting people out of the torpedo tube? Technically possible?
Yeah, I had company and they just left, and I just happened to come on to
Awesome.
YouTube and saw you here, so I didn't know looks like you're doing a very special movie.
Yes, we were. We're doing it today because yesterday we did Independence Day for 4th of July.
Gotcha.
So I was just about to start. If you want to actually watch the movie, if you go to birdofprey5.com/SR, you can watch a copy that'll be synced to the screenshots that'll be on the screen.
Bird O Prey SR?
birdofprey5.com/SR.
SR for screening room.
Yeah, lowercase.
I thought that stood for something else.
Warning, potential security risk ahead. Bird, what'd you do?
Just ignore that.
What?
No,
What?
did you really get that?
Yeah, Firefox detected potential. www.birdoprey5. Oh, I forgot to put Birdoprey5. I didn't put the 5 in there.
Ah.
That's my fault.
So if there's a Bird of Prey without the 5 website?
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
so.
Dangerous.
You better sue him.
Did somebody register birdofprey.com? Birdofprey.com.
Yep, better sue him, Bird.
I registered Bird of Prey.
There we
Fine.
go. There we are.
Just in
Okay,
case.
so log in. I'm Darren here.
You shouldn't need to log into the screening room.
No.
Well, there's a guest log. Okay, I see. Never mind then.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should just see the Paramount logo or whatever.
Yep, I got it.
logo post. Perfect.
I'm ready. Sorry to hold
Okay.
you up.
No problem. Glad to have you. Okay, so guys, we are in the screening room, and welcome back, Indy, by the way.
Thank you.
So let's see. Let me head over to the screening room. Actually, let me pop out the chat real quick, which I forgot to do.
Pop it out.
Pop it
Yeah.
out.
You're on live chat, right?
So now I have to switch back to live chat because once you pop it out, it switches. It switches. They try to get you. They try to get you. Okay.
You have to go to birdofprey5.com/screening room to watch it. V-star.
/SR. birdofprey5.com/SR. Okay. Or if you have your own copy, of course, you can always watch it there. So, Wesley Crusher says, "Is the Subman himself?" Yes, it is. It's Darren.
Yes.
It's Darren.
So you can tell us how inaccurate this movie is.
Right. The Defiant will pop on the screen from time to time, just the way the software works. it minimizes everything for a slight second as I change windows. So,
Oh, I didn't
okay.
know the Defiant was in this movie.
Yes, it's one of them Easter eggs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for
Wow.
those who have their own copy,
I mean, this is a Paramount movie, so Star Trek stuff can be in a Paramount.
It's all canon.
movie.
It's all
Yes.
canon. Yeah,
Yes.
same universe.
I mean, it does have the Enterprise in this movie.
The
as
Paramount
well.
Extended Universe.
The Enterprise is in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Okay, Wesley Crusher with a $2 super chat. Let Darren tell us about all the subs.
Well, you got $5 foot long subs.
I will be available for questions, obviously, but I think this is Bird's stream, so he runs the show.
You'd be surprised how little I
You
run
got
anything.
meatball subs. You got Italian subs. You got
The American subs, which have American cheese that isn't really cheese.
And Bird has reached 2.1k subs.
Yes, last night I noticed as I signed off 2,100 subs.
Wow.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you. And it seems to be the general time subs are going up. Like Anti-Tracker noticed his numbers started going up too. So I don't know. It seems like YouTube has like tides. And I think we're headed into a high tide. We'll see. Hopefully it continues.
As opposed to low tide, huh?
Yeah, well, those happen too.
So did you ask the question, Darren? How deep can a sub go? Because my mic gave up for a few minutes.
You cannot control
If it's not classified,
officially, officially, all I can say is in excess of 800 feet.
Right. I thought I saw somewhere that like the max depth of any U.S. naval submarine was like 1,500 feet. Now, I know you can't confirm or deny that, but so you're saying that's even deeper than you can say.
But definitely there are more planes on the bottom of the sea than there are subs in the air.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no commercial submarine, flights. Right. So yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start the movie. I'm going to count down. For those watching in YouTube, you'll see screenshots every few seconds. If you're watching in the screening room, you'll watch the actual movie. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the Paramount logo is moving. In the screening room, you can control your volume, but that's all you can control. Black screen. In November of 1984, shortly before Gorbachev came to power, a Typhoon-class Soviet sub surfaced just south of the Grand Banks. It then sank in deep water, apparently suffering a radiation problem. Unconfirmed reports indicated some of the crew were rescued. But according to repeated statements by both Soviet and American governments, nothing of what you're about to see ever happened. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, nothing happened. You didn't see me. I wasn't here.
This is all fake.
Fake news.
Wow, we had fake news in 1990.
Yeah. Wesley says, Joseph Patrick, you smart ass. And you're talking only about my ass right now. You. Sean Connery.
Yes.
That.
I want this sub shaken, not stirred.
There were like stories about how expensive his toupee was. And they did something like long hair for him, and he didn't like it, so they took then something from a shelf for a few bucks.
Yeah. Reminds me of being out to sea with the wake that you see behind the ship there.
This was the first movie I ever saw with Sam Neill in it. He's the guy with the binoculars there.
Yeah. So you didn't see him in Jurassic Park first, son?
Jurassic Park came out after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think he was in one of the Omen movies playing the son of Satan or something, wasn't he?
Joe Biden tipped $1. I would be happy to give classified info. I'm a Democrat. I can do what I want. American subs can go down 5 feet. Why didn't you let my friend Miss Londell pick a super chat?
I have to say that's a very good mock-up there.
Of the sub?
Yeah. That was very convincing.
You mean it wasn't a real sub?
No,
No.
of course not.
And all the underwater
Not real
scene-
cheese, not real subs. My world is being shattered today.
Yeah, ILM did all the underwater submarine stuff.
Yeah, and nothing was underwater, and nothing was filmed underwater. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Nope.
they basically put that onto a raft and they sank the raft just enough for the surface part to show.
Yep. Charles Aklin, who's a Russian diplomat.
And if memory serves, coming up here, we're getting the first major cameo I ever saw of a TNG cast member.
Yeah.
Gates McFadden,
Exactly.
I remember
Oh
right.
yeah, she was
Yes.
Jack Ryan's wife in the first movie.
Yes. But I do like Harrison Ford's portrayal of Jack Ryan better than Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Can you hear Charlie crying in the background?
No.
No.
No,
No.
the mic's not picking him up.
Courtney B. Vance.
No camera.
I like all of Jack Ryan's stuff. He's got a lot of good props here.
Well, I'm sure you don't like Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit with Christopher Pine, do you?
Oh, cups.
Definitely tell us about how accurate the sonar is, Darren.
Burp, little baby.
So have you held the baby yet, Bert? Have you held your nephew yet, Bert?
Look at that 80s turtleneck.
No, not yet.
I thought we saw you holding
And
Charlie.
there she is, Dr.
There she
Crusher.
is.
Dr. Crusher herself.
Dr. Crusher, how did you get back in time again? Wait a second.
See, this is why
Is
she
he a
left
candle
TNG.
alien?
This is why she left TNG second season. She thought she was going to have a bigger part in this movie. That's a joke, by the way.
She was going to be a movie star.
Yes.
And Basil Polidoris was writing some of the best movie soundtracks back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it has a very Russian feel to it, the music
Yeah.
in this movie.
But he did Conan the Barbarian, he did RoboCop, he did all kinds of great movies in the 80s
yeah.
as far as the music.
Wesley Crusher says, that's where my mom went? Yes, Wesley, that's why
Yes.
she left.
Yes, she was married to Jack Ryan first.
Yeah. And let me tell you, this is amazing. You remember back when flight attendants were really pretty? They were always young and pretty. Now they're old ladies and
Go on
dudes and
first class.
you know, yeah. I gotta do that sometime before I die. Do first
What?
class.
What, fly?
Fly first class.
Yeah, fly first class. Yeah.
I tell you, first class isn't what it's cracked up to be anymore. I mean, it wasn't 10 years ago last time I was on it.
Yeah.
11 now.
Yeah.
It got really crappy after 9/11.
I'll bet. I will bet.
I'm sure it's even worse
It's
now.
gotten a little better since.
I would manage one first class flight pre 9/11 using all my miles I had racked up. And it was amazing. Then the first time after 9/11, it was just like coach with a bigger seat.
Yeah, no, it's gotten better since then. Definitely, you get better food. better service, first class TSA pre-check.
Oh, Darth Vader's in this movie too. Oh my god.
I love it the way he says Jesus.
So
I
this
have
movie-
very loud. My copy is very loud music and almost no soundtrack. I need to.
I can hear Mama pray.
Yes, I
Oh,
can hear. I can hear
sorry
it too.
about that. I'll mute it.
That's fine.
Yes, this movie has both Star Trek and Star Wars connections, basically.
Yep. I like that ship model behind him. I bet that was very expensive.
Yeah, it looks like a on the cargo or resupply
War-
ships, something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
The one that- It looks similar to one anyway.
might be a World War II era destroyer.
That's what I was thinking. 2 masts.
Yeah.
Well, the resupply ships look almost exactly like that ship.
See, on his wall, he's got some Shellback awards, it looks like, and maybe some Blue Nose awards down the lower left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got to be a shellback. We never got to go to Mozambique. We had to take over for the Capadano on her cruise.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they took over ours.
Yeah, I got to be one when we went to the Seychelles.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a few awards. Blue Nose, Order of the Ditch, Order of the Dragon, a few others like that.
Yeah, I never got any of that.
Well, all you're missing is a big mess. I mean, what they do is you basically crawl on your hands and knees while they pour food on you.
Yeah, I know. I know the ceremony.
Yeah, Blue Nose was the best one though because that's above the Arctic Circle. You have to go out. You have to go outside of the submarine and above the Arctic Circle in your underwear and shower shoes and grab a chunk of ice and carry it down with you, and then you have to sit on it while they pour cold water on you.
Yeah, gotta love Navy traditions, man.
I
Yeah.
regret not getting the yeast wash though.
Yeah. That was still voluntary when I was in the Navy. If you were on a surface ship.
Yeah, I got both surface warfare and air warfare on the carrier I was on.
Wesley says, Bird of Prey, my mom left me with Picard to be with the movie Han Solo. And Roxal says, Bird of Prey supports communists. Confirmed.
Okay, first thing I got to talk about is the sonar shack. While they got the general idea pretty well, this doesn't look like any sonar shack I've ever been to. The only accurate thing there is that roll of toilet paper. And the reason why is because they needed the audience to be able to tell what ship you were on instantly, so they made the interior of the sonar shack here in particular and the rest of the control room, they made it out of aircraft material instead of naval material. So it's all the technology here looks very different than what it should look like, but it's still there.
So why the toilet paper?
Because sometimes we use wax pens to write on the screens when we're trying to show somebody something, and then obviously you have to wipe it off. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Usually there's more than 4 people in the sonar shack. In this movie, there's usually just Jonesy and the guy he's training, and that's it. But in an actual submarine, you've got a sonar supervisor and at least 3 operators.
The Neo-Normie says, have I watched The Sum of All Fears? It's actually a really good movie. I have watched it. I didn't hate it.
Have you read the novel of Hunt for Red October?
I have.
Yeah, I have too.
Not me.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah.
A little bit more in depth into Jack Ryan's character.
Yeah, Tom Clancy kind of lucked out because he happened to luck out because he had this book ready to go, and this brand new publisher had just started up, and they needed books for their initial launch, and so he had shopped around the book to several publishers, and nobody would look at it because that's how publishers tend to be, and so yeah.
Solid F. So we're at the point yet where we lose the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Wrong movie.
Yeah. Now one of the best portrayals in the movie is Scott Glenn here as the captain. He is very convincing. His XO is convincing too, but of course Scott Glenn gets all the better lines, so he's very convincing.
I didn't notice. Was the toilet paper in proper overhand fashion?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
There's Sven Thorsen, a actor in many of Arnold's movies. That guy behind Connery with the beard there in that shot. You'll see him again when they start singing. So you can see that the Red October has everything's in black. All their technology, everything is made out of black materials, so that you could tell instantly what ship you're on when the cameras change, from one ship to another. I'm not getting any captions. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Normally they had fixed subtitles in the film for when they're talking in Russian in the beginning of this movie. So
There's no privacy in Soviet Russia. We need to sacrifice him for the society.
yes, the Zampolit, the political officer.
Look how they are coming like thieves. And he's quoting the book. Because I have the subtitles in Slovak.
I have to say that is a very nice captain's cabin with a booth there and everything. His own personal booth.
We had a former Russian citizen in my kung fu classes, and he and I used to compare notes a little bit because obviously in the Soviet Union, military service was mandatory.
Yep. It was basically part of your high school experience. They tacked it on the end, kind of like in Israel. Yeah. I always liked how they did this, where they zoomed in on him and he starts speaking in English, and they understood. It was understood that from now on they'd be speaking in Russian, but you would hear English. I like that a lot.
And yes, Neonormy, of course I've seen Down Periscope. It's great.
I would say Down Periscope is at least as accurate as this movie.
So there was it looked like a made-for-TV movie called Attack on the Wane that I watched a few weeks ago about subservice, and it had Leonard Nimoy and William Wyndham in it. So I'd be interested in your take on that one, Darren.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't really say much about it.
Yeah, but you might want to check it out, do a video on it, perhaps. Perhaps not.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I like how everybody can smoke on that boat.
I was going to ask, did they really smoke on submarines?
Well, on the Russian ones, I'm sure they did, but the American ones, you pretty much couldn't smoke on any naval ship except in designated smoking areas, and after 1982.
That's about the time I joined the Navy, was 1982. I actually joined in 81.
Yeah. Like I say, old timers used to say that, people used to smoke pot back in the engine room and you could smell the weed when you went back there. Before the Navy, before Reagan, the Reagan administration took over and cracked down on all that stuff. It's interesting because the previous president behind Reagan was a submariner named Jimmy Carter, and you'd think he would have paid more attention to that. But, oh well. He's
So
also
that is
Thor's. He's also Thor's buddy.
So that is one thing about naval charts. They designate areas that you operate in.
Mm-hmm.
That if you're not in the Navy, you don't understand what they mean.
Right.
Hola, Hector.
Would their orders really be on or about, not a specific date?
Maybe. I mean, we had on or about dates too, so. Yeah.
Neo Normie says Das Boot is my favorite submarine
Das
Yeah.
Boot.
on screen.
Das Boot, yeah.
Das
I
Boot.
mean, I used to say boot too until somebody who is more better at German than I said, you're supposed to say boat. It's just,
Oh.
I'm like, okay. So,
Especially the use of a tunnel set similar to Alien, where the set has no gaps for lights or cameras.
I always thought it was kind of interesting how he killed him there by just basically breaking his neck. How does he account for the smoke and the fire and stuff in his orders there?
They were smoking.
Well, right, but you're still going to see paper ash. I mean, that's done for dramatic effect, I guess.
I don't think anybody will question a Soviet captain.
Yeah. I can't get over how young Alec Baldwin is in this movie. He looks like a kid.
Yeah. And dinner.
Mhm. And that's
Just
another.
take an extra hard hat. We got him laying around.
They actually do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's another. That's probably a real Los Angeles submarine. That looks like a real dry dock. So.
I wouldn't think it would be in Pax River, though. Pax River is mostly naval air station.
Right. I mean, they'll tell you it's somewhere, but they probably filmed this part in Groton, Connecticut.
Daniel's Hot Topics is Bird of Prey. I miss Sean Connery. Too bad he's not in movies anymore. He's old.
Yeah.
I don't know that he would live up to our expectations.
No.
Mr. Lundell, he was young and probably a bigger a-hole than he is now.
And it was that one movie that turned him off of ever making movies again, the League of
Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah. Which could have been a good movie, but wasn't very good.
It's a guilty pleasure. It's a bad movie, but I like it.
Now, Principal Rooney here is noteworthy because he got in trouble for possession of CP a couple years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember his mugshot. He looked like a bum, but he was still a respectable actor back in this time. So he's.
You know what? If he had such things at home,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember his name. Is it Michael Gross or is that somebody else?
Michael Gross is the father from Family Ties. I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This
Yeah.
guy is somebody else. I can't remember what he. I guess I'll look at it. I'll look it up.
I
They
can.
look alike, though, somewhat.
I'm going to IMDb right now.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the keyboard? Oh,
Jeffrey Jones. That's his name.
Right.
Yeah, in 2003, Jones pleaded no contest to a charge of soliciting a minor to pose for nude photographs and had subsequent arrests for failing to update his sex offender status. But the character he's playing is pretty cool. Then you got Dr. Frankenfurter here with. Was that his character's name in Rocky Horror? I can't remember.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Or I should probably call him Lord of Darkness because he was also in Legend. He played a pretty wicked demon in that movie.
Pennywise.
Pennywise, that's another good one, yeah. There's Sven Thorson carrying the body there. He was in Conan the Barbarian. He played Thorgrim, one of the guy with the big hammer.
Jesus, what do you have in your head like a database? That's crazy.
Am I talking too much? Because I can.
No. I think it's okay.
Oh, if it's a movie that I'm very familiar with, yeah, I got a lot of stuff on that.
Plus, you're the expert, Darren. We want to hear from you.
This set looks very much like what you'd find on my ship. I think they probably just used American Submarines as a template for the interior sets. Interesting that they actually have a full medical doctor on board, though. American Submarines don't have one. They actually have a hospital corpsman, highly trained, but not an actual doctor.
Frigates are the same way, except the hospital corpsman isn't exactly highly trained.
Ah.
Oh, baby Charlie sneezing.
Oh.
That's so cute.
Darren, did you have cases of claustrophobia, or is it something that you get tested on before enlist on a submarine?
They screen you for that stuff, but sometimes people make it past screening, and then when they actually get on board a boat, then they do wig out. The only time I ever had a panic attack on board was I was actually asleep in my rack, and I don't know. I had a dream I was inside a coffin, and of course you're in a shelf, and so I woke up freaking out. People had to wake me, had to pull me out and stuff. But that was an isolated incident.
A submarine is basically a walking coffin.
Yeah, well, you sleep on shelves in the wall.
Like the Defiant.
Yeah, exactly. Except the Defiant had more room. You saw a place where the captain slept in that room where he killed Konovalov, right there next to the booth, and that's very similar to what we had.
The Neo-Normie says, amazingly, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was directed by the guy who is basically responsible for the MCU because he directed Blade, which was the first Marvel success.
And then you've got another Star Trek guy there too, Dimitri, the helmsman of the Excelsior, is a member of the Red October crew as well.
And the Neo-Normie also says Tim Curry is 1/4 Indian, but his best role by far is King Arthur in the stage musical version of Monty Python's The Holy Grail, Camelot.
Well, Tim Curry was also in the Clue movie, if you remember that as well.
He was in The Shadow too with Alec Baldwin.
It's interesting how Sean Connery has, as a Russian captain, such a Scottish accent.
Well, everybody in this crew is either British or Scottish or something. You know, when you listen to their accents, it's. I thought that was a good idea. They just did the little voice thing, and yeah.
Well, I mean, Scott Glenn did base his performance on a specific sub commander in the Salt Lake City or whatever it was called.
Yeah, he did. He just decided, well, I don't have to create a character. I'll just be this guy, and that's what he did, and that's why he's so good at it. Yeah, Sean Connery has this thing, you know, different movie, same accent. You know, it's like, okay, Sean, in this movie you're going to be playing an Egyptian who's been living in Spain for the last 100 years. We want you to change your accent. And he's like, no. There's Sven singing.
Oh, there we have Karogan anthem.
The great Mamo pray. Thomas says, my lower talking feels strange. Yes, for those who weren't here at the beginning, I am using my inside voice because Nephew O'Prey is here and trying to sleep.
On Nephew O'Prey is on the dining table.
Well, right now, Nephew O'Prey is in Mom O'Prey's lap.
Okay, so no more dining table. Okay.
Yeah, sounds just like the Krogan national anthem.
Thomas says, for a moment, I could slightly hear the movie. Well, bring the volume up on the movie and down on your on your other browser or whatever. Down on your YouTube window. The Neo-Normie says, question for the panel. How much was Star Trek Enterprise like a submarine? And is it very much what the set was designed to be like? Well, that's really just a question for Darren, who did a whole video on it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. It was pretty obvious to me that they were what they were going for, and you know, there's little details they put on the bridge, for example. All the consoles have handles on them. You know,
You said that they visited your submarine?
They visited a submarine that a buddy of mine had been transferred to, and he sent me an email saying, you know, you'll never believe who is here, and it was like some people from Paramount, I think, you know, the Star Trek guys, and then, you know, and they showed them everything forward to the reactor.
IMDb says 20,000 was spent on Sir Sean Connery's toupee.
It's a darn good toupee, though. I mean, I was surprised when I saw him in the next movie and he didn't have any hair.
Rock Solid says, Clone of Prey needs to stop being such a whiny baby and take his nap like a Krogan dictator during a live stream. I don't know, Rock Solid. Now you're sounding kind of like Soft Putty.
After being faxed the script, Connery initially turned the role down on the basis of the plot being unrealistic for the post-Cold War era. Whoever sent the fax neglected to include a foreword explaining the movie as historical. Once he received the foreword, Connery accepted the role.
Thomas is saying that on YouTube, he can hear the singing. Huh.
Well, we can hear the movie through your mic, Bird of Prey.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have headphones in.
Because I'm listening to the movie and I can hear an echo on somebody's mic. It might not be yours. But
that's not mine then. Okay, we need to find out.
Mine not either because I have headphones as well.
Yeah.
If anybody's not wearing headphones, please mute your mic. so we
I'm
can't
not-
have the movie.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry, I'm muting my mic now.
No problem. I mean, you can talk when you need to.
I liked the way this scene was shot, where the Soviet bureaucrat comes in and he's, yeah. He's totally bored with his job. The first thing he does is pull out a smoke and pours himself a drink, and he gets a letter from his nephew, and that's the first thing he reads, and it's the letter saying, "Hey, we're defecting."
Supplies.
It's going to be a bad day.
The underwater model of the Red October has never been in water. The effect was achieved using smoke on the underwater set and few digital touch-ups.
Yep. Well, ILM, got good at doing underwater faking underwater photography for Star Trek IV when they did all the underwater whale footage. This was just an extension of that.
The Neo-Normie says the best Connery wig in a movie is from 10 years before, called Zardoz, which was famous because Connery wears a red nappy and later a wedding dress. I'd never seen it.
Yeah, I've heard of that movie, but I've never seen it.
Thank you for tea and Barber.
So, Soviet ballistic missile submarines always have the missiles in front of the sail, whereas American ones always have the missiles behind the sail. So if you're ever wondering if you're looking at a picture of one, if it's Russian or American, that's a telltale sign.
What happened, Fortian? 40 says that he is tired and sad. So I just asked why. What happened?
Because it's 5 hours later for him. It's like your time.
Mine is 6 hours later. And I'm not sure if we said hello to Mr. CCDV and Happy Dinosaur.
Qapla, Happy Dinosaur, and Mrs. CCDV.
Okay, thank you, Fortian. I hear Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I can say is it would take us 2 days to get up to steam on the ship that I was aboard. So we wouldn't be able to sail right away. It would take us 2 days before we could actually get underway.
2-day delay. Good news to know, comrade.
So a lot of this is exposition. They in the book they have a whole chapter devoted to everything that led up to Ramius deciding to do this. And one of the things that happened was his wife got sick while he was at sea, and she didn't get the right medication because of bureaucratic incompetence at the state-run hospital. And that was one of the reasons why he grew to hate the system they were living in, the Soviet system. They touch on it briefly in the movie, but they don't really go into it.
I think it's enough to for the movie to give his.
How depressing it would be for him to leave because of their medical system and then get here. Neo Normie says supposedly there's an Amazon Prime movie of Fallout coming out. I really wish they'd leave the games alone for films, even though he'd love to see a Splinter Cell movie. I've never played Fallout or Splinter Cell.
Well, Fallout is derivative of a lot of other movies, and so if you made it's just like what I said when the Warcraft movie was announced, I'm like, people are just gonna look at it like a Lord of the Rings ripoff, because that's what Warcraft is. It's a reinterpretation of Tolkien material.
Star Trek nitpickers went to high school with Baldwin's wife. Did you date her is the question.
Which one, Kim Basinger or his new one?
Well, the Tom Hanks sub movie is only on Amazon or something like that. Pretty soon.
Apple TV, I think, was the one who won the bidding war. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Apple TV.
Yeah.
Did that movie ever come out?
Well, no, it was supposed to come out in June, but
I think it's on the 14th that they're releasing it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to come out in theaters, obviously, but
So Tom Hanks is now on a submarine?
No, he's a surface ship captain trying to lead a convoy of supplies to the front during World War II, and he's got U-boats after him.
Okay.
So he's not a U-boat commander. He's just
So
trying to
it's
fight
something
U-boats.
new right now, yes?
Yeah, it's a new movie, but about World War II. Yeah,
It's a Tom Hanks movie. Can't be
Yeah.
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it had a killer trailer. That's what I remember.
The Neo-Normie says a really good nautical movie you should watch is The Battle of the River Plate. It's very historically accurate in the frigate battle with the pocket battleship Goffspray.
it's called Greyhound for the Tom Hanks movie coming up on Apple TV or whatever.
Is it out already or no?
No, the 14th I think is when it comes out of this month.
Okay.
And here we have Dr. Selvig from the Thor movies.
Yeah. Still on Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Actually, no, wait, July 10th. So it's going to be on in 5 days on Apple TV.
Alpha submarines were friggin' death traps.
Okay, Joseph, you got that?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, July 10th.
My wife has a Apple subscription, so
Yeah, so watch it July 10th.
we'll be in Croatia.
Okay.
Alpha submarines were death traps because they had a special kind of coolant system. Most submarines have a liquid, a water-cooled reactor, but that one had a liquid metal-cooled reactor, and so they could go over 100% on it. So they were the fastest submarines in the world, but the information I saw said that most Russian sailors who served on one for a 2-year stint died of some sort of radiation-related cancer within the next 6 years.
To have more power.
Yeah.
At least they didn't turn green.
Yeah, the Alphas were actually a flash in the pan. They only had, I think, 12 of them, and they got rid of them within like 4 years.
Yep.
He's wearing his dungarees underway. Submarine guys don't do that. They wear coveralls.
Yep.
Neo-Normie, why don't you come on up to the panel?
On all the ships, you wear coveralls nowadays. That's all you wear.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It was a privilege of submarines back when I was in, but I guess it's commonplace now.
Yeah, all surface ships, you wear coveralls. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, easier.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have a uniform inspection or something like that, obviously. But you only wear that uniform for what, maybe about an hour for the inspection, and that's about it.
I liked how all the officers were in on it except for the doctor.
But I guess they couldn't trust him.
No.
But
It's Tim Curry.
plus he gets, well, you'll see. But anyway.
Welcome Julia Rex to the panel. Julia Rex, a noted Risk player.
Oh,
Wow.
welcome.
Hey guys.
Oh, Julia, you sound different.
Sounds kind of like that goofy LTG pickle guy or something.
Welcome, LDG.
Did Julia change the name in Risk?
Understood, Neo-Normie.
I'm surprised, Julia's not named Bree,
What does it mean in English? Break test.
Breakfast?
Break what?
Breakfast?
The Neo-Normie said, I would like. but I'm at work and I'm about to brake test a heavy goods train.
I think he means, I don't know, test the brakes. I don't know, to be completely honest.
Brake test a heavy goods train. Yeah, you got to test the brakes on the train.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think it would be the other brake, BRAKE. I think it was just a typo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how the engineer is the only one there wearing red.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me.
Yeah, nobody had different colored stuff. Well, I mean, on a carrier, obviously, on deck, you have your different color jacket people.
Mm-hmm.
On the flight deck, from blue, yellow, which are the bosses, purple, which is fuel, red, which is there for fire, damage control, and blue is maintenance, along with green is maintenance as well.
By the way, they are eating borscht. Have you ever tried it?
You eat borscht with a fork?
They said that they are having borscht there. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
No, because borscht is a soup.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's excellent, by the way, if you have a Russian restaurant that you can go to and try it out.
It's made with beets, as I recall, right?
It's cabbage, meatballs as well, and it's very, 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 very good. It's like vegetable stew, I would say.
Kind of interesting that nobody is actually eating except for the captain.
How many toilets are on that submarine?
Oh. The captain's probably got his own private one. That makes sense to me. There were 3 toilets available for the crew on Trepang.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there were 3 toilets, and then you had one. We had one extra commode that was designed just for pissing, and there was no seat on it. And then back aft, there was a trough that you could take a leak into if you were, back in the engine room. The chief's quarters had their own toilet too, so that was shared by all the chiefs in the chief's quarters, and the officers
What was
had
the crew compartment?
about 90 guys.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm trying to count. Now I'm counting all the toilets on board. Okay, so there's 3 for the regular crew for E1 through E6, and then 1 for the chiefs, 1 for the officers. Captain and XO shared one on the ship. That's it.
That's ridiculous. Okay, but there are shifts. Okay.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah.
I've eaten soup with a fork, Dan.
Connie.
I mean, I didn't care about the liquid too much, but it happened.
There's Professor Moriarty. Another Star Trek actor.
I wouldn't have recognized him.
Yeah.
And the Enterprise.
Yeah. And Fred Thompson. Russians don't take a
Actual
dumb
senator.
son without a plan. Yep.
Neo Normie asks if anyone on the panel has been on a diesel submarine, as they have one in London on display, and it was definitely for the 5-foot males.
Interesting fact, I've actually been on a nuclear submarine.
Oh, yeah? Which one?
I don't remember the name, but it was ROTC when we went to Virginia, I think it was.
Okay.
Some base in Virginia, and they had a submarine, and we actually got to go on it. and go in it, and that is small as effing hell in there.
Yeah, don't let you on board.
It was
We had
probably
an old Canadian diesel sub come visit us in Newport, Rhode Island, and we got to tour the boat.
We got to see the video room, which I thought was interesting.
What
They
year
had
was that? LDG. What year did you?
I was in high school, so it would have been around like 97, 98,
Oh, okay.
somewhere around there.
See a video
Probably.
room.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, the video room was there. They had their VHS. They had actually a room where you go watch a movie or something. And it was really small, but they had a whole bunch of VHSs. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want,
You don't get cable on submarine, probably.
Yeah, no.
you can import. They can line it up. They can connect it to the pier.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, cable only goes so far.
Can you imagine a sub with a satellite dish?
Yeah, radio doesn't penetrate more than a few feet below water.
Yeah. Plain old geometry.
I like it when they go through that Thor's twins later in this movie and they have to do have to time their maneuvers and all that kind of stuff.
Thomas spots. So LDG was close to a reactor.
Yes, I've been close to nuclear reactor. Yes.
Yeah, well, me too. I mean, on the trim.
90
But they
90 Yeah, 96, 97. I was in the Navy at that time. So you were probably on a Los Angeles class submarine out of Norfolk. That would have been one part of a battle group.
Yeah, they let us into the reactor before they sealed it up and everything when they were building the Truman.
Admiral Doom says that I was on a diesel boat during boot camp. The USS Blueback was the sponsor of my boot camp company.
During boot camp, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just like a diesel surface ship.
I think it was. I'm trying to look it up. I think
Which
it was
highways
Norfolk.
Yeah.
But them diesel engines, I mean, we only had one good engine for our whole deployment on the amphibious Gator freighter I was on.
How does it work with the diesel engine? So it has to charge batteries when it's surfaced, right?
Right.
This
Or
is
on
a
a certain.
surface ship. This
Yeah.
is a surface ship
Oh.
that has diesel engines.
Hmm.
You have 4 engines, but we only had one good engine the whole deployment. You want to have at least 2 operational. That's all you need is 2. So to be 2 is your normal operating, and then the other 2 are mainly backups. But we only had one that was really working. And we were out of Bahrain like about 4 or 5 times to try to fix the other one that was crapping out all the time.
Then 23 is singing The Village People.
But, like that scene at the beginning of the Titanic movie with the dolphins coming out of the ocean, you actually do see that when you go underway.
Yeah, they play with the boat. They jump in front of it, and yeah.
So
it was one of the cool.
That is real.
Yeah.
Wish we would have had cell phones back then, because it was really cool. Being in ROTC, we had this huge field trip, and I believe it was Norfolk. But we didn't even when we flew there, we flew in some kind of like Navy drop ship, like airship with the big ass back doors that open up and everything. We didn't even fly in a regular airplane. And we got there. They also took us through like this one area where we did testing where we were on a fake ship, and they would flood the room with water, and we had to like do emergency services and close the valves. I mean, I'm telling you, water pouring in everywhere, like literally scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's part of boot camp.
Yeah. And then that's when we got to go on the submarine as well and take a small tour. Now, I didn't actually go to the reactor room, but they took us around. And being on a sub is no joke, man. That stuff is crazy.
Admiral Doom says, heck, the post office and the ship store on the USS Theodore Roosevelt has dosimeters in the passageways because they are both near one of the reactors. Crazy.
Well, you wear a TLD all the time when you're on the nuclear ship.
Yeah.
You're supposed to anyway.
Yeah, they check the dosimeter about once every couple of months. Every once in a while, we get somebody who thought they were smart, and they would put their dosimeter in the microwave or something so that it would look like they took more radiation. They would try to get out of an underway. And, of course, all they'd end up doing is wrecking the thing because it doesn't measure microwaves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wore your dosimeter to the beach, you would pop it, and they would be looking at getting you off of an underway because you would absorb too much radiation. So that's how safe it is underwater with a reactor like that. You actually get less radiation than if you were on a beach.
Yeah. Well, and obviously when you're in the engine room, you have to put in double hearing protection as well.
Yeah.
Or you're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, our engine room was pretty quiet.
Well, they still get a requirement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that it was loud or anything, but yeah, you could still hear the humming mainly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
200 meters.
Friggin' metric system.
Yeah.
Kuroga and their metric system.
Gotta love it.
Kuroga doesn't use the metric system. I'll be back in a minute or two.
The Dewey Decimal System.
We used American.
Oh, I might have to defect then.
You use the hex system, probably, right? Hexadecimal.
I don't know. The metric is so easy.
It is easy because everything's based on 10 and.
I still hate it.
Yeah.
It's logical. Makes sense.
I remember having to study hexadecimal when I was into.
That guy was using a whiz wheel, a computer, which is it's an analog computer to measure bearing rate and such. We had those.
So they tried to implement the metric system in civil engineering in the 90s, and it didn't go very well.
No.
Well, they tried to implement it in the U.S. and it didn't go well. So
that's what I'm saying. Here in 95, they tried to implement the metric system for all engineering, and it went over like a lead balloon. There were certain issues that they could have fixed that they didn't. They just weren't being practical about.
I think you would switch to metric immediately if
F the imperial system.
if gasoline prices would be on the same level as here in Europe.
Well, I mean, yeah, it costs instead of $2 a gallon, it's probably $2 a liter there. So you're paying.
I pay $1.40 for a liter. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so see, here it was $1.40 a gallon in the U.S. So, and a gallon is close to 4 liters. So
yeah, 3.8 or something.
Yeah. It's
See how he had to climb down that ladder and squeeze through stuff. Not a lot of room in there. That's pretty accurate.
Well, if it had did that have a scuttle on it or no? I did not.
What's that?
know. Did that have a scuttle on it? You know what a scuttle is, right? The round part that you climb down into
I didn't notice.
with the wheel on it. You know,
Oh no, I didn't see that.
yeah. Because
I do believe they took us to the torpedo room. If I remember
The
correctly.
neo-normie.
and you got shot out of there, right?
Yeah.
The neo-normie asks, has anyone on the panel been on an old naval vessel like the HMS Victory he was
I've been
on
on
back
the
in
I've been on
1984?
the Constitution, which is the oldest one. That's a museum, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think
me
I've
too.
been on any naval vessel.
I've been on the Constitution, Old Ironsides.
Yeah, that's the
I
oldest
may
one.
have visited the Enterprise in New York City during school, but I don't even remember.
I was on an inflatable boat. Does it count?
I've been on plenty of ships, just not Navy.
I remember touring one of those wooden sailing ships back in the day when, like high school or junior high school or something.
John DeMarco, we are stubborn. We aren't going to change our weird units. And Mr. Londell,
You're
buying
right,
buying gasoline by liter is a solid ripoff.
Yeah.
You're right, Thomas. It's the Intrepid, not the Enterprise. They had the Enterprise space shuttle on it, though, now. That's why I said Enterprise.
The U.S. Navy basically claims the North Atlantic as their own. Just FYI.
Yeah, and I've been on the battleship Wisconsin, Mr. Lundell, as well. It's in Norfolk, I believe, has a museum.
I love this little, politician talk here. Everybody knows what's really going on.
Yeah, fly your ass off.
That actor got to play a lot of villains in the 90s. He was in, I think, Lethal Weapon 3. Played a South African guy. I don't remember.
Don't forget Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yep, he was in that too. That's true. He was the normalist.
Yep.
I guess.
Another thing, I never watched the Bill and Ted movies.
Oh my God, unsubbing.
Are you even subbed to me?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I didn't. Joseph has a channel.
No, I have subscribers.
Okay. So I always like this idea where they had to use their normal propulsion, of course, and that made them, detectable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ships that have two independent propulsion systems are kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. 4 minutes, 10 seconds. Hey. That's pretty accurate. Yes. And of course, anybody new on the ship, you tell them to go get the sound-powered phone batteries.
The plane looks like from Star Wars. I mean, the prequels.
We had one guy so upset trying to find sound-powered phone batteries. He went to the chief, and it became a big mess.
Yeah, it's a common joke that you have them find something that doesn't exist. Try to find something that doesn't exist.
They tried to get me to go get a BT punch.
No, okay. So the Red October launches countermeasures. Now, what is a countermeasure? A countermeasure in this case is just a great big Alka-Seltzer tablet. In the water, it produces bubbles. Bubbles produce sound, and that creates a sound front that is supposed to prevent the torpedo from being able to hit you.
Such an easy trick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course, it doesn't work in this case, but
Yeah. Admiral Doom. Every time I see the actor that plays the Soviet ambassador, I keep seeing him say diplomatic immunity from one of the Lethal Weapon movies. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he gets shot by Danny Glover. Diplomatic immunity. It's just been revoked. Blam.
Isn't the ship container? Isn't he killed by a ship container?
No, at the end of the movie, Danny Glover shoots him. He holds up his diplomatic papers and mentions he has diplomatic immunity, and Glover just kind of shrugs and shoots him anyway.
Who got killed in that movie by the ship container? Or was it a different movie? I don't remember.
No, same movie. It was just the other bad guy.
Okay.
It was fighting Riggs. He was fighting Martin Riggs. I don't know who the actor is, but yeah, it was the same movie though. You're right.
Was it Jet Li? No, Jet Li died differently.
No, it wasn't Jet Li. That was in the fourth.
Oh, Jet Li was in the fourth. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm getting them confused. I haven't watched them for a long time. Bert, Lethal Weapon on the list.
Yeah.
I think Bert is asleep.
I'm not asleep.
Okay.
Neo Normie says the most interesting U.S. naval vessel was actually made by a Dutch immigrant. Ask the panel what they know of the USS Monitor. Anyone know of the USS Monitor?
It was one of the first. I think it was the first naval vessel, U.S. naval ship that wasn't made out of wood.
I thought there was old ironclads.
That's what they're called. Yeah, they're ironclads. Some of them were just clad with iron. They had wooden hulls.
Yeah, wasn't it a Civil War ship, the Monitor and the Merrimack, right?
Yes, exactly. That was the big battle that you always learned in history, was the battle between the Monitor and the Merrimack. And the Monitor also had the first rotating gun, as I recall.
Yeah. Now I want to know if you can do that on an aircraft carrier. Just have the shower running like that.
No, you have to hold a button.
Yeah. So.
You have to, yeah. It used to be where you could, it would free flow like that, but they installed all of them with where you had to keep the button pressed for one to come out.
How do you shower on a submarine?
You turn on the water. Well, first of all, you take off your clothes, you get into the water closet, you lather up, and then you turn the water on and you wash the lather off. You're done.
So we went 2 days without fresh water, coming out of Rota, Spain, because somebody turned the wrong valve and got seawater in one of the boilers.
Oh man.
So we had
Wow.
to flood the boilers with all of the fresh water, except there was enough to brush your teeth.
Yeah.
And yet we still had to do all the normal maintenance on the ship,
Hmm.
scraping and swabbing and painting and everything else. So it was an interesting 2 days. We got a little ripe there after 2 days with no showers.
Longest I went without a shower was 37 days, and that was because Trepang's primary moisture evaporator broke 4 days into an underway, and all we had was the secondary, which meant the only people who could take showers were the captain, of course, because he's the captain, and the cooks, because they had to handle food. Everybody else had to go without. And I remember our halfway night, we actually had enough water built up so that we could we had a lottery to see who would win and to get a shower.
Okay,
And,
now I understand. So basically, you were filtering the seawater and create.
Yeah, the submarines take in seawater, they separate the brine, they use electrolysis to break down the hydrogen and oxygen, and then recombine it later in another process. So that's how we always were able to make fresh water, but with the primary unit down, and only relying on the secondary, we couldn't make enough for the whole crew all the time. So that was
No,
that.
I understand. I was like thinking, how do you where do you store the fresh water? So, but obviously, you explained it right now.
Yeah, the AFW tanks. But and so when we came home from that underway, of course, normally the families are waiting on the pier and everything, and everybody hugs and everything. There weren't any hugs that day, because the women would smell their guys, and they were like, and they looked terrible. I mean, you couldn't shave either. We actually had, guys that had to tried to dry shave and stuff like that. Or they'd go into the engine room where you'd sweat, your face would sweat, and they'd try to use the sweat to lubricate their razor for shaving. And, it was just,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, this plane crash was a stock footage.
I believe so, yeah.
Yep. Not that I knew that. I read it on IMDb.
Yeah. They use a stock piece of stock footage later in the film when they show the Dallas doing an emergency blow. That same piece of stock footage was later used in down periscope, but they had to cut the footage short for down periscope because the submarine that was depicted had fairwater planes instead of bow planes, because it was supposed to represent the Orlando, and the Orlando had bow planes instead of fairwater planes. So, but yeah.
For a second, I got a Top Gun feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been launched off of a carrier before. You basically go down for a second when you're launched off, and then you go up.
Carriers are a modern marvel of engineering. I really do believe that. They're so huge, they're made out of metal, and yet they float. It just,
Yep.
Thomas asked if European ships have showers. No, why would they waste the water or the room? And the Neo-Normie says another very good Cold War thriller like this is the Clint Eastwood movie Firefox.
I remember
I'd
that.
definitely be on a panel for that great film, being 90% of the actors are British. I've never seen that movie.
Oh my
I have
God!
to put it
You
on
haven't
my
seen
list.
Firefox?
No,
I remember that.
never even heard of it.
Yeah.
The airplane acrobatics took me out of it. I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
I couldn't enjoy the movie because
Yeah, I mean
the
it's
airplanes
not
doing things
really.
that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's not really accurate at all as far as when he gets in the plump jet.
Oh. Another little thing here, that Seaman Beaumont there on the screen, the redheaded kid, he was in the TNG episode Tapestry. He played one of Ensign Picard's best friends, Corton Iswella.
Okay, yeah. On an aircraft carrier, the fresh water is used in a priority. Bird washing, mess decks, then scuttlebutts. and showers. When one of the diesel plants went down, it got kind of interesting for a while. Yeah. And yes, Thomas Potts, European ships have showers. All of the Navy ships that Slovakia has have showers.
How many naval ships have you been on, Joseph?
On all of those that Slovakia has.
Does Slovakia have a navy?
No.
As an inland country?
If-
Yeah,
no.
sure.
No.
The
it does
largest
not.
branch of our military.
Yeah, it's an inland country. What does that give you a clue is? It's totally surrounded by land.
I don't know. We have inland states that have coast guards, so
Yeah, little boats.
I could basically
Gotta protect the fishing holes.
jump on a boat and end up in the Black Sea because Danube.
raise rabbits. Oh wait.
Cinnabon. I think he's going to raise dinosaurs instead.
By the way, we have a navy, but it is in cooperation with some other country. I don't know where, what. I didn't care. I didn't pay attention.
Probably whichever one's closest to you on the water, I would imagine.
Would be in this case Croatia or Slovenia with all their few hundred meters of coast.
Yeah.
Oh, there he was cleaning the screen with the toilet paper.
You said it's between Croatia and Romania, you said?
The closest sea to us is probably Slovenia or Croatia. Slovenia, it is definitely the closest one.
Slovenia?
Mm-hmm. Mars says Slovakia uses canoes. if they sink, they call the submarines, and if somebody launches paper planes from it, they call the aircraft carriers. Yes. Oh, we bought recently F-16s. Was it F-16s? I spoke about it, but I don't remember it. I think F-16s. Yeah, something like 18 of them. We don't have them. They are being built right now and will be delivered in the coming years. At least they will exchange the 3 MiGs that we have.
I assume that you guys have to use some drones. I mean, those are they're expensive, but they're not as expensive as a fighter plane.
Just to understand, I think the 500 kilometers that Slovakia is in the widest parts,
Mm-hmm.
I think the jets can handle it in a few minutes. Especially we have like 2 strategically placed military airports.
Yeah. So, which, I mean, I guess you've been to both Budapest, Hungary, and Vienna, Austria, I would
Of
imagine,
course.
right?
Yeah.
As long as Prague, Czechia? Or have you not been to Prague?
Oh, many times.
Oh, okay.
And I was supposed to be in Hungary like a month ago to a Celine Dion concert.
Where, in Budapest, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was cancelled. But we share the Air Force with Poland right now.
Oh, okay.
There is an
Yeah,
agreement.
just north of you.
So
Well, I
there's
guess you
his.
could-
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to point out that his bed he was lying in was like the coffin sized beds that we had.
It doesn't look very comfortable, the bed.
So,
No, it's not. You only spend about 6 hours. You 6 hours sleeping in it, typically at a time, and it hurts your back, and that's usually why I got up, because my back would get so sore I couldn't lay down anymore.
So I guess
So
you've been.
and those were shared beds, right?
Only on certain underways. If the torpedo room had to be fully stacked with torpedoes, then the lower junior ranks had to hot rack, which means they assigned 3 guys to 2 racks.
Mhm.
So whichever one was not occupied is of the 2 that you were assigned is the one you slept in.
Okay.
You had to put some of your stuff in one rack and some of your stuff in the other rack too. So it was just kind of a pain in the butt.
How long did you
Thomas.
serve, Darren?
Joseph has mix. He's communist unsubbing. Thomas, it's only 3, please. Don't
Yeah.
unsub. Don't.
Yeah, we only
don't-
have 3
don't unsub.
MiGs.
How long did you serve, Darren?
What's that?
How long did you serve?
4 years.
Yeah, that was me too. I did my 4 and got out.
Yeah. Well, they decommissioned my submarine, and after I worked, for 3.5 years on that thing, keeping her going, and then I watched her get torn apart, and I just I can't see myself going to another one at this point, and that was it.
After my first med cruise, they put the ship into the reserve fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So they took off about a third of the crew. So we couldn't get underway for more than a few weeks at a time without the reservists. And then the reservists would come on board for 1 weekend a month, and then 1-2 week stints at a time.
They're climbing up through the escape trunks there to get onto the surface. This is one of the more accurate parts of the movie. You got Los Angeles there with a helicopter, and the danger that they depict here is very real. The static electricity, at least once a year, you'd hear about somebody getting electrocuted trying to do this.
At least Alec Baldwin looks afraid.
Yeah. And like they say in the movie, that the water temperature in the North Atlantic it's incredible. You said you only have about 30 seconds of physical movement before you get so cold that you start involuntarily curling up into the fetal position.
I saw the Titanic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't see. I never saw Titanic. That came out when I was in the Navy, and I wasn't about to go see a movie about a ship that sinks. I'm like, what? Why would I do that? But so yeah, to this day, I've never seen Titanic, and I still don't want to.
It's a good movie, actually. It's really not a bad movie.
Yeah, James Cameron has never made a bad movie, in my opinion. But it's yeah.
So of course, having reservists on board, they always forget something when they come on board, so they steal what they can. So,
man,
the one time I had my peacoat stolen.
Oh,
wasn't that submarine moving pretty fast a second ago?
Huh.
So it was in the middle of winter when my peacoat got stolen, and of course, I had to stand watch in Rhode Island in winter.
Yeah.
Without a peacoat on the deck.
Thomas Scott's
for the watch.
No spoilers there. Darren didn't see the movie. Haven't watched it yet.
Neo-Normie says, Bird of Prey. The UK Navy has 5 nuclear subs, and a Trident is a revenge weapon. And if the subs get no radio for news after 4 days of silence, they are to fire on Russia, assuming the UK people are dead.
Wow. That sounds like some hype to me, but
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. But
I don't believe that. How would they know Russia was the one to attack them?
yeah. Well, that's who it would have been during the Cold War. But yeah,
Yeah.
when I reported on board, the cob, chief of the boat, gives you your bedroll, which is just your two blankets, your bedspread, and your pillowcase, all rolled up in a very tight, bedroll. And he says, make sure you keep track of this because bedroll items are the most commonly stolen things on a submarine. So I took the bedroll, I took it back up to my barracks room, and I went out in town and I bought a Rainbow Bright bed set. It had a Rainbow Bright pillowcase, a Rainbow Bright mattress wrap, and stuff, and blankets, and I put that in my rack. Nobody stole that.
And you were inclusive.
Yeah. and pretty soon other people started doing that too. All of a sudden they're going to down into one of the berthing compartments. There was Star Wars, pillowcases everywhere. There was, it was one of those things where the captain, wanted to know why we were doing that. We just because we didn't want it to get stolen, and he's like, okay, I can see that. And but he says just make sure that you pull the curtains so nobody can see that when we're in port. You're fine.
Yeah. So I've been talking to this sci-fi dog lady over on her channel. She's pretty new, and I've been saying how Captain Kirk is a real sailor's captain. Because he understands discipline is necessary, but he doesn't hold anything against you. And if if you're feeling guilty about something already, he's not gonna pile on.
Yeah, on my channel I have a video of the 3 best verbal reprimands in Star Trek, and the one from The Trouble with Tribbles is my favorite one in that list, and what's so funny about that was that Trouble with Tribbles was basically a sitcom. It was basically a comedic episode, but Kirk knows how to proceed with love. He chews everybody out, but he's not a bastard about it. He's got a lot of wisdom.
Yeah, definitely. There's the episode where they go up against Apollo, and he's like, he's dressing down Scotty, and then he says, "Besides, you could have gotten your neck broken, you thick neck something or other. I can't remember."
Well, what I just love about that dressing down was that Kirk initially thought that Scotty had started the fight because the other Klingons had insulted him, and oh no, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
That was good old golden,
big enough to take a few insults.
Yeah, golden age television comedy. That's what that was.
Yeah.
The makers of Discovery wouldn't know the first thing about doing an episode like that.
Oh hell, they don't even know what military discipline is.
No, they don't.
Yeah, when they say attention, they stay at ease. Yeah. On Discovery. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another example of a ballast control area made with aircraft material instead of Navy material. All that white plastic and a highly digital depth gauge there. It's funny that they have a copy of Jane's fighting ships in that bookshelf there. I didn't see any copies of that on mine.
We had that on the Valdez, and we were in the Persian Gulf, and the wind was blowing pretty hard. The captain called the weapons officer up to the bridge to look up this Iranian ship. You know, it was one of the patrol boats, and the guy started reading from it, and then he's like, he looks up for a minute, and then he looks down again, and he continues reading, and he didn't realize the page had flipped. And the captain is like, "Can we outrun these guys?" And he says, "Yeah, we can. They only go like 20 knots or something." Well, because he made that mistake, we were getting ready to outrun them, and then just before we did that, he realized his mistake, and he's like, "I'm sorry, they go 35 knots, which is faster than us."
Yeah.
The captain is like, "Oh fuck it, just point the big gun at him. Let's get him out of here."
Scott Glenn kind of looks like a ghoul there. The lighting makes his eyes look black. Okay, how many people know what cavitating means?
Cavitating, the act of getting cavities.
Eating too much sugar and not
No.
brushing your teeth. No, I assume that's something like you creating bubbles.
Yeah, Captain Mancuso ordered a full reverse on the propeller, and that causes a low pressure area to build on the blades of the propeller. That creates bubbles of steam because the water boils, and then those bubbles eventually pop, and that creates a lot of noise, and that's how they alerted the Red October that they were there without really, purposely giving themselves away. Unlike the cavitating that they do on Star Trek Discovery, which has nothing to do with cavitation at all.
Neo Normie says the guy from Lethal Weapon is the Welsh actor Jaws Auckland.
Yes.
And Neo Normie also asks, how would submarine crews deal with COVID, as there's an aircraft carrier in the South China Sea at the moment?
Well, they'd have to. Basically, it would only be a problem for somebody with a compromised immune system, which you probably wouldn't be on a submarine if you had one. To be honest, I mean, there are certain medical conditions that would prevent you from being on board. Honestly, given that COVID isn't all that deadly to a healthy person, they'd probably just suck it up and get it, and
could they go with half the crew incapacitated due to heavy illness? Or is that
you go to work regardless of whether you're sick or not on a submarine, you don't get sick days. If the corpsman pronounces you SIQ, sick in quarters, then you go to the rack. Obviously, there are a couple of conditions that would send you, would get you out of duty, like, if you broke your leg or something, or if you were violently ill and couldn't keep anything down and couldn't stay conscious, that kind of thing. But I had COVID back in November, and it was only a problem for about 24 hours. Then I was done. The other thing about it is that if a submarine knew about, or the Navy knew about COVID before they launched a submarine, they would probably manage to get some treatments on board. They might be able to get that, whatever that stuff Trump was talking about that he used.
Hydrochloroquine, whatever.
Yeah.
People don't work now.
Yeah.
Now there's a more expensive one.
Yeah. We had all kinds of stuff on board, special cocktails that he could give us for various things. But
Vodka martini in the evening and Bloody Mary in the morning.
no, but let's okay. So like obviously, he referred to his cocktails as basically the various drugs he had on board. So for example, we had a guy who was on board who got a compound fracture in his leg, and he gave him morphine. He had that that he could give him. So until we got him off the boat for actual medical care in a proper clinic or hospital. And one of his other cocktails that was really interesting was we had a situation where we were we had to surface in the middle of a tropical storm, and the boat was getting thrown around all over the place, and we had a cook who was exceptionally nauseous. He couldn't function. He couldn't cook the meal. So the doc pulled out a cocktail, gave him an injection, knocked him out for about 10 minutes. But when he came back, he was no longer nauseous. It was like a super Dramamine, kind of thing with anti-nausea medication, but it renders you unconscious for a while, so it's kind of dangerous, But when you come back out of it, you don't care about the motion at all, and so that was an example of one of the drugs that they have. There's also performance enhancers on board the boat. Sometimes a crew has to take those, things like that.
Nicole Mellot is here and says, leave a like. Got to get gear mode alone before the lovely city has a meltdown. Was watching an Ecto 1 build.
What?
Just read it for yourself. Let us turn shout.
I'd imagine, Normie, that if you're the captain or officer, you could have red wine or earplugs. I was responding to Ciso Pray. Sorry, John DeMarco. I thought I was muted.
Внимание. It basically says attention.
That is one annoying alarm. It takes a really good actor to play a bad one. And Connery's a very good actor because he was playing a man who was a bad actor acting just now.
I'm not quiet. I mute the microphone because Sis O'Prey and Mom O'Prey are talking in the background.
Yeah. So don't you have like your own room, Bird? Or
No, my room is my living room.
oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I my houseboat bed is in the living room.
Gotcha.
Everybody, it's basically your command center.
Okay. So there's nowhere they can go, huh?
Well, they could go in my bedroom if I needed them to, but I don't.
So what's in your bedroom?
A master bedroom with all my
Oh.
furniture, everything's still there.
Oh, okay.
But we use it as a
Gotcha.
guest room now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So when I come over to visit you,
That's where he'll be staying.
yeah,
That's
No,
the roof.
yeah.
Okay, so that's the Reuben James. It got decommissioned a couple of years after they filmed this. I think. I'm working off of bad memory from a few years ago. So.
and Bert, you were going to protest. And if you're talking, you're muted. Is this round design of the rafts somehow better?
Thomas, they don't. Nephew O'Brien and Sis O'Prey don't sleep here. They don't live here. Sis O'Prey has her own apartment.
I thought you said you were getting her the house 2 doors down from you.
I'd hate to be on one of those rafts. Jeez.
It doesn't look any worse than whitewater rafting.
Yeah, except, the water's a lot deeper. And
Colder, probably.
colder, saltier, yeah.
Did they
it's
say
raining.
10 forward is the bridge?
What's that?
Neo Normie says 10 forward is the bridge. Did they say that? I
No.
might have missed it.
No, it's not the bridge.
There aren't 10 decks on any submarine I know of. That'd be one monster submarine if there was.
Yes, that's Bird hides all the beagle bites in his master bedroom.
Now here's some bullshit here. A torpedo launched in that way would not be able to self-destruct remotely.
It would need a wire coming off of it, right?
It would need a wire, yeah, and you'd have to prep it to do that, but that's a possibility. But I just don't, this is one of those things where that moment required you not to know enough about sort of torpedoes to fully enjoy it. Yeah.
So is it totally fantasy this, or did something like this happen, and now happen in quotes?
Well, the caterpillar was something that the United States did experiment with back in the early 70s, but the principle of it was that you would use magnets to magnetically draw in the electrolytes in the seawater. Just like like he says, a jet engine for the water. It pulls the water into the tube and then it squirts out the back. Problem was that there just isn't enough salinity in seawater to make it viable. You can only, their test is where they can only make a vehicle go about two or three knots. It was not good enough to make work. But the fantasy of this movie is that the Soviets were able to actually make a version that worked. So that's one thing.
Do they have submarines with little submarines on them?
Yeah, the United States tested that. They had a special vehicle made, and then they tested it in Salt Lake City, Utah, in the Great Salt Lake, which actually has higher salinity than the ocean water does, and they couldn't make it go very fast at all. So it was, that was the whole idea. It was going to use the salt in the water to propel it, basically, and yeah. There was a couple other things. In Jonesy's computer is called SAPS, which stood, I believe, for the in the movie stood for Seismic Algorithmic Processing System, but that was a creation of Tom Clancy, so that he didn't have to create more sonarman characters. He only wanted one. He only wanted the reader to have to worry about one sonarman. So he made a computer that would take care of all the classification of it. The Navy subs did have a thing called SAPS years ago, but it didn't do anything. It wasn't anything like that. It was so he just borrowed the name and changed what it did.
Thomas is making a joke about Soviets making something work, but I would remind you, Thomas, Soviets had better rockets. They had a space station before we did, a working space station. And they had a supersonic plane.
They also had a superior selector switch rifle too in the AK-47. The AK-47 was a very good weapon.
Yeah, there were some things the Soviets did better than we did.
Yeah. They also came up with Tetris, which is a very addicting, very, very good game.
I can't forget that.
Yeah.
Especially the Game Boy.
Amerikanci.
Now they're speaking Russian again. Yeah. And of course, Scott Glenn looks like General MacArthur in his combination cover and whatever.
Where they were speaking Russian the entire movie, though.
They were, but the actors weren't. But now the characters are. Again.
Yeah, they were switching. They switched in the scene with the captain in the early.
Yeah, the captain, the first part, just so we understand. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a I think they did the same thing in Star Trek 6. I thought that was kind of a clever thing to do. I just like that when they zoom in on the person's lips as they're reading in a foreign language, and then they switch to English, and then they pull back.
Or on Discovery with the Klingons when they switched to the Klingon subtitles. Then, remember?
Yeah.
How dare you bring up Discovery in a positive light? Yeah.
Yeah, I was enjoying the movie, and you had to go say that. My favorite movie. I love how it took this long to get him on the boat.
Yeah. It's interesting that they brought Jones on board too. I'm kind of that's kind of a weird thing to do, but
They're bonding over cigarettes.
yeah, Russian cigarettes I'd imagine would be a little harsher than the usual
They are.
American ones. Yeah,
Yeah, no need for all those pesticides and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is pretty funny. He can't hold it in. You got to remember, Soviet Union didn't have things like health codes and stuff like that. People drank and smoked all over the place.
Hello, Kitty. Do you speak Russian? A little bit.
Yeah, I think we got that. Thank you.
See, on my version, on my screen, I don't get the subtitles. Maybe that's a setting I haven't turned on. Yeah. Yeah, getting stuck in the middle of a torpedo fight with a DSRV is not great. Yeah, that would be hard enough even if you could read Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd already be at battle stations if that was the case. Oh well, it's movies.
And a $2 super chat from Alexander. Asian Muslim wife born in the USSR is the best choice. Alexander, maybe she will defect.
To Canada. Oh, sorry, Quebec.
See, what I want to know is why can't we get like Star Trek battles like this? You know, with a very slow torpedo coming at you.
Yeah, I would have hit her already.
Less friction in space.
Well, certainly, but if you were fighting over astronomical distances, you could simulate this in Star Trek.
So Thomas Potts want me to ban Yosef. John Street says, remember Soviet items were made in Taiwan. And Neo Normie says it's interesting that as far back as the Romans, there was a version of the submarine and diving bells. That's
Ooh.
true. I've heard of those.
Why am I supposed to be banned?
This actually would this maneuver would not work with a friend or foe torpedo.
Well, the idea here is that Ramius knows a lot about the captain of that other submarine, and he essentially closes the distance before the torpedo arms itself. So it's an interesting idea. It depends on the audience not knowing how Russian torpedoes work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how all the torpedoes were first created, but then they came out with torpedoes that actually recognized signatures.
Yeah, magnetic
And
influence
would
exploder
arm.
and things like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand, Thomas. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I mean, so Russian torpedoes are different. I mean, the reason why the Kursk exploded back in '99, I think it was, or 2000, was because the Russians used a torpedo that was powered by high test peroxide. And the reason why you would want to do that is because the big problem with the torpedo is it's got to have a fuel source that resolves the oxygen problem. And so the problem with high test peroxide is when it comes into contact with metal, it breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen, which are two very nasty gases. And pressure built up and it blew up the torpedo while it was still inside the ship. Well, American submarine torpedoes don't use high test peroxide. They use a substance called auto fuel, and that problem isn't a problem that our torpedoes have, but theirs did. So.
Neo Normie says, how about the Cold War thriller involving submarines? Any of the panels seen Ice Station Zebra?
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, not me.
Has to get back into gruff mode. Yeah.
It was before I was born. Okay.
The air pressure on a submarine, is it kept on like the normal level, or is it something like higher?
No, it's the same air pressure. There's the exterior hull, and then there's an interior pressure hull. That's where the crew lives. One of the differences, though, is that the oxygen level on a ship like mine was a couple of percentage levels lower than the fresh air you got outside. So the air you breathe outside is about 21, 22% O2. We kept ours at 19.
No headaches?
No headaches, although it was just one of those things where the human body can get away with 19%, so they kept it at 19%. It meant that you had to drink more coffee in order to wake up after you woke up. It didn't really. It in theory it would prevent fires from catching fire. But it did not significantly. I mean, the Navy experimented a couple times with increasing the O2 level in a ship, to somewhere a little bit above what you get outside with fresh air. And the problem, of course, is that, back then the submarine service was entirely male, and guys couldn't get to sleep. They had, constant boners all the time. Your body had to, if you had more oxygen, your body knows what to do with it. It would put it anywhere it could find it, and so it was much healthier to have it 1 or 2 percentage levels below fresh air than above fresh air, and so. Yeah, see, the whole countermeasure idea is something I kind of wish that Star Trek would adopt, because that makes it a little more exciting, Especially, like, Enterprise should have had something like countermeasures there, since they didn't have shields.
Fly.
And there's the stock footage I was telling you about.
I love you.
So what did he say there?
Leave it. Let it be.
Okay. I thought he said happy birthday or something. Firing any kind of gun on a submarine is dangerous, especially back aft. You got to be very careful. The bullet goes through a human body and then hits something else behind him. It could be bad.
So you use only smaller calibers.
Or shotguns. We had sawed-off shotgun Mossberg cruisers on board, which was the preferred weapon to use against somebody who's already on board the ship.
Pretty much, he knows he knows what had just happened right there.
Of course.
Yeah, there's some very subtle acting choices being made right now.
Lost.
Now
The
they're going to cover up.
Neo-Normie says, Bird of Prey, did any of the panel go to pressures where an oxygen helium mix, as my dad and some of that back in the 80s working in North Sea oil? I've never been more than like 10 feet underwater.
This is one of my favorite shots in the movie where they're on this river, and the blue screen is very pretty.
Yeah, it is.
The lighting is just perfect because it looks like it could be real. You know, it probably isn't, but you know, it's very Hollywood.
The shine on the hair gives it away.
Yeah.
There's no way moonlight shines like that on someone's hair.
No. It reminds me of day for night photography, or night for day, or whatever it's called. Day for night.
Day for night.
Yeah.
When I was scuba diving, they only gave me the. I don't know what was in the mix. Probably not helium.
My dad got a scuba tank set up from one of his friends once. They just gave it to us as kids. I mean, in hindsight, it was terribly dangerous, but I just remember using it and sitting on the bottom of my uncle's pool for like 15 minutes, breathing, looking up. It was like an 8-foot deep section of the pool. And then it ran out of air, so I had to go up. We had the belt with the weights and everything.
Oh, and he got his sleep finally. And it's the same teddy bear as in.
Is that a Teddy Ruxpin?
It's the same teddy bear he used in Die Hard.
Oh, it is,
not
huh?
Teddy Ruxpin.
Oh no, Teddy Ruxpin was animatronic, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he had
just
Chucky
be off.
eyes. Yeah.
Chucky eyes. Yeah, day for night. I often wonder why anybody thought that was a good idea. I mean, all the old Hammer films used to use it. I mean, I guess it was used in Castaway and Mad Max Fury Road, but it you know, but for real night photography, it's just not very good.
Now, that is the movie, people.
Alrighty.
I liked it. I enjoyed Darren. Thank you so much for you coming. That you were able to add a lot
Definitely.
to the
This is
movie.
the first-
More so,
Yeah, this is the first time I've got to do this with you guys, so
it was the perfect movie.
yeah, I know. It's like it's kind of
We
lucked out.
usually do them on Saturdays. I don't know if your schedule is different, but
Yeah, Saturdays I work. I typically work Saturdays. So
okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
probably
Yeah.
that's probably
But
why.
once we are watching Titanic, you should come.
I don't want.
I don't think Titanic's going to be on the list anytime soon, Joseph.
New movie to torture Bert with.
New hashtag incoming.
Alexander wants to play Risk.
Sync with
Alexander,
Titanic.
you can get some people to play. I might get in the game, but I can't stream it. I'm going to end the stream in a few minutes since this O'Prey and nephew
Of course.
O'Prey are here. Maybe I can get a sneak picture of he's sleeping. I don't want to wait.
I'll do a stream. That's fine.
Neo Normie says, Bird of Prey, my war film suggest for your next cinema is 1941 by Steven Spielberg. Neo Normie, what we do is I put up some movies and we vote on them. So the vote, in fact, I'll put in the link to vote. There is no war movies, I don't believe, in the current vote, but as they come up, sometimes we'll get some. That's the link where you can vote for the movie. Well, next week is The Princess Bride. That's already been settled. The week after, it will be one of those, which I believe is Total Recall, Short Circuit, Stargate, the movie, Crocodile Dundee, and there's one more I'm forgetting. The Burbs. The
Burbs currently sitting at 2%.
Oh,
Please vote for the Burbs. Please, guys. Come on.
I'll
Vote for the Burbs. It's a vote for humanity.
Crocodile Dundee at 19%, and then we have Short Circuit at 25%, Total Recall and Stargate have a tie on 27%.
What was that movie that they kept voting for that you didn't want to watch? What was it? A couple months ago?
The Crystal.
Crystal Skull?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I still have not seen that movie.
Don't worry, we're going to watch it every year now.
Oh, no.
No, we're not doing annual Crystal Skull.
Annual Crystal Skull for Bird.
Annual Crystal Skull for Bird.
I
The
think
sad part is if one of you other guys watched it, I would probably go there and watch it. I just don't want to be the one watching it.
we will do a
But if you
GoFundMe
go there
for
to watch it, you're watching it.
And you're going to do Lord of the Rings. For
Oh,
you
hell
and
no. We're
Samantha.
not doing Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
If they can do a 90-minute cut of Lord of the Rings, I'll think about
No, Lord of the Rings, the extended edition. There you go.
it.
Yeah, there will be.
If I wanted to do a 48-hour stream, I would just call it a 48-hour stream.
Josh Street says, we demand 24-hour DS9 marathon and a 48-hour Bird of Prey 5 watching Crystal Skull.
Okay. While neither of those is going to happen, we are infinitely closer to a 24-hour DS9 marathon than a 48-hour Crystal Skull repeat. Neo Nomi, I just voted for The Burbs as it's one of my favorite Dante movies. And
Okay, let's refresh the page.
Thank you.
Alexander says, Bird of Prey, you should put on the list to vote Bob Wire. I don't think I've heard of Bob Wire.
You know, has Pamela Anderson.
Pamela Anderson.
In it.
Oh,
He
well,
always
I don't.
talks about it.
Boobs, spandex, and boobs. Guns. And guns. And
That
somewhere
sounds like-
in there, there's a plot for a movie.
I'd put on Lord of the Flies, but not Lord of the Rings.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's
Lord of the Flies, I think, is even free on YouTube.
Yeah, it probably
Find
is.
It's a weird movie.
It's a weird book.
Yeah.
Never read it.
This Bird of Prey. One to consider is the animated version of Batman Year One, as it's really good. I mean, I try to watch movies that I've already seen, so that wouldn't be one of them. And it's not impossible, I'll grant you that, but you just...
I'm only happy that Stargate is at 27% with Total Recall.
Just screwed up. Banners, brands. Change it
Because
back to
it means
default.
at this stage, even if he doesn't win, it will stay on the list.
I basically whatever movies I want stay on the list, more or less.
Oh,
Oh,
democracy.
now it
right.
changes.
Well, it is it's a vote where you guys get to vote out of 5. I picked the 5, so it's like, except for Crystal Skull, which was one movie I never intended to have on.
Okay, but money talks. So
Money
yeah.
does
And then you
talk,
shortchanged it.
We watched Crystal Skull, Joseph.
I know. It was Jeff who was complaining.
Star Trek Nitpickers disagrees with the philosophy of Lord of the Flies.
I do too.
Which philosophy? That you shouldn't leave
Well-
kids alone on a desert island?
Well, no, the idea was that it was basically a statement on humanity that those boys degenerated, into savages that try to kill each other. But first of all, they were all boys; there were no girls, and that right there is a problem. And I just didn't agree with that premise.
Wasn't it a boys'
it was
school or something that they were?
A boys' choir, I think, is what it was.
It was disproven. It wouldn't work. There was something like an experiment or involuntary situation very similar to that plot I read somewhere, and it didn't end up like that.
Oh, so the real world didn't end up like a movie? I'm shocked. It's a movie. I mean,
Well, it was a book. It was a book first.
Okay, but still, it's fiction. Nobody was saying that this is what really happens.
Right. Well, the
it was
author
plausible, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed plausible at the time.
Yeah.
Thomas
The
Spot
neo-normie.
says,
I'm sorry.
Thomas Spot
What?
says rules don't apply to dictators.
Yeah.
By the way, LD, the verbs are at 10% right now.
Neo-normies is Bird of Prey. Also, the really good
Lovely.
slapstick comedy Mouse Hunt as one of my favorite comedies. Again, this is not something I've ever even heard of, let alone seen. It's like we've gone to different movie universes. Eastland says he nominates and we pick from the nominees. Exactly. The system works.
Most of the time.
Julia Rex says she voted for the Burbs. I'm sure she did. And LDG is thanking her.
Now, if we can just get Brie Larson, if you're listening, please vote for the Burbs.
Evil. You are evil.
An anti-checker said today that he's going to put up the video, basically the live stream back.
What?
Because he has no time to cut it into a video. The Brie Larson interview he did.
Oh,
Which was pure comedy gold.
yeah, I got my whole channel fooled.
Yeah. No, it was perfection.
I had false news for my own panel. Quick, check out I'm sorry. Check out Anti-Checker's got Brie Larson. I'm like, what? What? Are you serious? Yeah, he's got like 50,000 subs. I'm like, what? No way. Let's go check it out, everybody.
You want to know what really sold that bit was having Life with Matthew there with him, because you don't expect practical jokes like that to come from Matthew.
Actually, I guess what you're saying, but I guess I'm one of the 1% that actually thought the opposite.
Okay. 'Cause, I mean, there was for example, there was a friend of mine, evangelical Christian, very much like Matthew, a G golly willikers kind of guy.
Yeah.
But once in a blue moon, he'd do a practical joke, and you would never have suspected it was him, precisely because of that. And he got us every time.
Bird's
So-
trying to show us something.
Best Beagle Dad. Is that you? Is that
You're
is that you
muted.
hit? Is that you hitting your dog?
Oh,
You're
We
muted.
can't hear you, buddy. You're mute. You can't hear you.
You're
you
muted.
muted yourself.
That's me fist
Yeah.
bumping.
Oh, fist bumping. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I
Where's the
went
baby?
from
Can we see it?
didn't know how to take that at first. Okay, fist bump. Got it. Okay.
Can we see the baby?
You can show them or.
So-
Oh, oh.
How is Sisopre doing?
Sisopre's right here.
hello.
Hello, Sisopre. How are you doing?
hi, Sisopre.
Oh,
There
Hi,
she is.
everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
He's so cute. I don't want to let him down, so
Oh,
Yeah, it's fine.
Bird has to wait.
It's okay.
Okay, Joe, put your arm up.
Put my arm up, Mom.
yes. Order,
My-
I'm sorry, you want, or no, you,
no, put it this way.
okay, put it under your elbow. Yeah, there you go.
oh,
Support the head. There he
Oh.
is.
Little kitty purr purr purr.
Hi, Charlie.
hi, Charlie. Hi, nephew Opre.
Yeah,
Are you
but
crazy?
it's not blowing on him.
It's not blowing on him. I can feel it. I'll do
It
it.
is blowing on him. Okay.
You just move your hand.
I see the soot building.
There.
He's sleepy.
Man, I say Charlie is a good name.
Please, Joe Loja on Bird of Prey 5.
Everybody said hello to you guys, and they send their love to Charlie and you and Mommy, right?
It's very sweet. Let's make me just hold this thing and God give me a phone.
Two of my family members are named Charlie.
How do I shut it?
This there's a switch on the back. The center position shuts it. There you go.
That's the one. Jesus. You
Okay,
just see the
if-
draft.
If it's too cold,
I'm just saying. Why? Ugh. Keep him warm.
I'm keeping them.
I'll fix. Thank you.
He lost his belly button stump.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Was it did it pop off, or how does that work exactly?
It falls off.
Ah,
He's sleeping like this.
so he's all sealed up now.
Don't try taking a swing at me again, kid. I mean, I can't see the chat, so Yosef or anyone, if you see anything.
Thomas Spot says, punch Birdo Prey again.
Punch him again.
There it goes.
Neo Normie says, Birdo Prey 5, they're cute till the projectile vomiting.
It's okay. With Charlie.
That's just
Eastland
them testing everything
Burkholder.
out.
Eastland Burkholder says, nephew votes for Stargate movie.
Now they're bidding for nephew Preda to hit
So,
Bird.
Nephew
Thomas-
O'Prey, Charlie.
Thomas Spot says, $5 for
Oh,
nephew
baby.
Prey if you hit Birdo Prey.
What happened, Bird?
Charlie, baby. Make a movement when I get to the number of your favorite Star Trek movie. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he moved.
Oh. He's gonna be a Star Wars fan, I think.
No. Not Star Wars. No, you're going to see the Disney trilogy.
Charlie,
first.
move if you want. Charlie should move if he wants to watch Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull? Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull.
No, I'll put him to sleep.
Oh, I'm dreaming about it.
Experts.
We lost somebody.
We lost
Yeah,
a
we
couple
did.
people, I think.
We lost a couple people.
It's fine. Babies aren't for everybody.
Oh, Darren left. Okay.
Yeah, Aaron left.
By the way, Darren, if you're listening, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you everybody for coming today and watching the movie. I think it was a great movie. Great panel.
Josh Street says Birdo Prey 5 is holding his clone.
It's not my clone.
Well, at least we know he's not someone from the future, himself in the past or something, or else to create a paradox.
And Josh Street also says he's moving his arm, so he wants Bird to watch Crystal Skull.
I don't think so.
Jedi mind tricks do not work on a child that age.
We watched all the Indiana Jones movies. Oh, do you like Temple of Doom?
And you have a $2 Quebecan super chat.
Thank you, Alexander. Some money for the nephew. Oh, thank you so much, Alexander.
Yeah.
We'll have to get him his first Risk board game.
To his diaper fund. Or to his Risk game. Yeah, either one. Yeah, how much is a pack of diapers supposed to last? Half a day?
You need to change the diaper latest when it starts flowing out from the sides, you know.
Now I'm missing the Mandalorian helmet. This is not Baby Yoda.
So.
Anyway, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Understand.
I think that's about it for today. We actually got more people since he came on than we're watching the movie. But I think we're going to call it a stream. He's 12. He's 12 days old. Nobody with sense wants to watch Crystal Skull. Baby of Prey has sense. Yeah. Yeah. Alexander says, Bird, we will support your movement for the Rose Tico series. Yeah. I agree. And Nicole says, peace, y'all. Take care, Nicole. And take care,
Nicole.
Everyone. Thank you all for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
He was
Take care, Chet. Take care, Bird. Take care, Prey family.
Thank you, Yosef. Thank you, Jeff Franklin. Thank you, Positive Candor. Thank you, Jedi Bill, LEG. Any of you guys want to say anything about your channels or anything before we go?
Yeah, maybe I'll do a Pixelate stream, couple video games, guys, if you want to join later. Keep an eye open soon.
Just want to
Thanks
thank
for
you
having
for
me on,
having me up.
bud.
You're
Good movie
always-
today.
I have a channel run Monday through Friday at midnight Central Time, and I have a morning show on the weekend called The Morning Blend. You guys missed a really good one. We were talking about why we like Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, which there will be a part 2, which I hope you come over to tell us what you love about
Very
Star
cool.
Trek II: The Wrath of
Very
Khan.
cool.
Yeah, check it out. It was this morning. Really short one, but you'll like it.
I will.
Positive-
I caught it.
Yeah.
Positive candor, anything? Well, positive
I'll
candor.
just say, yeah, just glad we got to see Nephew Pray. Really.
Yeah, you still stream weekday mornings?
Yeah, I moved it up to starting at 8 Eastern time in the morning.
8 Eastern. Okay. Say goodbye,
Because
Charlie.
I've been going longer than 15 minutes now. I've been going 20,
Yeah.
30 minutes sometimes.
It's not called 15 minutes of positivity anymore.
No,
It's just called.
just called positive candor. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
guys.
Take care.
Take
Bye
Take care,
bye.
guys. Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Ending stream, Charlie. And broadcast.